Hey, I'm Grant with Grant's Game Rex. Welcome to the best new editions of board games coming to retail in January 2025. There are three types of games in this video. There's just straight up new editions of games, which are largely the same in mechanisms and everything, but maybe have updated artwork, updated components. We also have re-implementations of games. Sometimes publishers take an old game and put it in a new setting, give it a new theme. Mechanically it might be similar to an old game, but it has a fresh coat of paint on it. And then lastly, you will find games in an established series of games here in this video. I've got 16 new editions coming to retail here in January. As always, I hope you find something that you're excited about here in this video. There's always a lot of games coming out, so hopefully there's something for everybody. Oh, also, many of you know that I had a game that came out recently called I'm Kind of a Big Dill. This is a silly, fun party game of stretching the truth. It came out in November, made its convention debut at PAX Unplugged in December. Well, some people have asked me, like, oh, I wish I could see a gameplay video of the game to get the vibe of it more. Well, Smosh Games just played the game, played a full round of the game. It does a great job of showing the sort of silly social aspect of the game, just the kind of get to know you laughing vibe of the game. So I'll put a link in the description of this video. So if you want to see how the game plays, I recommend watching that game. So let's get into these new editions coming to retail in January. First up this month, Asmodee, in association with Ponzi Games, is releasing Zombicide White Death. If you're not familiar with the Zombicide franchise, there are a lot of different Zombicide games that are somewhat connected in theme and mechanisms, but each of them have tweaks to it, and each of them are set in different settings. So just as a whole, the Zombicide games are cooperative games where you are survivors fighting zombies, trying to accomplish missions and objectives. One thing I like about most of the Zombicide games is there are scenarios to play through, but they're not necessarily connected. You don't have to play a campaign with the same players. You can kind of pick and choose the scenarios that you want to set up, the scenarios that you want to play, and they have different missions and objectives. This Zombicide White Death version plays 1 to 6 players, 30 to 180 minutes, and it is a medium weight game. It is set in icy, wintry lands, and this one is actually in the same line as Zombicide, Black Plague, and Green Horde, the medieval fantasy setting. So this is, there have been Zombicide versions that are like modern and Old West and Marvel and a lot of different types of Zombicide games. This is in that same medieval fantasy setting, but set in a, icy winter, not a wonderland. I don't know, when you say, when I say winter, I want to say wonderland, but you're all dying from zombies. It doesn't feel like a wonderland to me. And so, as I mentioned, each of the Zombicide games do have some mechanical tweaks of how you're going to do things, but it's more about adding more content, adding different ways to play Zombicide. Asmodee and Ponzi Games is also releasing Ethnos 2nd Edition. This plays 1 to 6 players in 45 minutes, and it is a medium weight game. This 2nd edition features updated rules for streamlining the gameplay, and it also introduces a new solo mode, allowing players to enjoy the game on their own. Ethnos used to be a 2 to 6 player game, now it is a 1 to 6 player game. And it's also, sometimes I get asked for recommendations of like, what are strategy games that play 6 players? Because there's not a lot of games top out at 4, maybe 5 players. There aren't a ton of games that have that 6th player, and so Ethnos is definitely a strategy game that can play that 6 players. You are going to be getting cards that represent different clans, and you can play sets of clan. You can play either sets of the same clan or sets of the same color, and the number of cards that you play is going to allow you to put pieces out on the board for area control, and then you are fighting for control of the board and the map and the different regions that are out there. So, I feel like Ethnos is kind of considered one of the classic area control games at this point. And this second edition is just going to streamline it, make it easier to jump into. So, if you haven't played Ethnos before, this is definitely the place to start. All of the clan members are going to have different special abilities, and depending on who you choose to lead your group, because when you play a set, you put one card on the top, and that's your leader, and that's going to give you a different strategy and different special abilities. So there's a lot of things to think about, but it is an area control game at its core. So that is Ethnos 2nd Edition. Asmodee, in association with Lookout Games, is releasing Patchwork 10th Anniversary Edition. I always just, when these anniversary editions come out, I just feel like I got to congratulate the game. You're this many now, Patchwork. You're on you filled up 2 hands. You're going to start having to use toes to count soon. Patchwork, if you don't know, is a really great, welcoming 2-player game where you are drafting polyomino tiles and then fitting them into your board and trying to build out a patchwork quilt. And so this mechanically is largely the same. Some of the differences in this anniversary edition, there is a festive cover design with gold finishes. There's also an Automa deck, so you can play Patchwork solo now. That's never been in Patchwork before. And there are some sort of theme versions of Patchwork. There's the regular Patchwork and the Christmas Patchwork and the Halloween Patchwork, which is just kind of changing the artwork. But this is actually adding a solo mode. There's also special tokens in the game now, and an anniversary design on one of the patches. And it also features new illustrations on the components, which will then become the standard edition after this special 10-year anniversary edition. So if you want to refresh on Patchwork, or if you're looking for a great 2-player game to get a partner into games for the first time, or get a child into games for the first time, I think Patchwork is great for that. Next up, Avalon Hill is releasing HeroQuest First Light. I want to note that this is a Target exclusive right now, and it will eventually be in wider distribution, but right now it is in Target. 2 to 5 players actually doesn't say the time on it. It's 2 to 5 players, and it is a, sort of on the edge of lighter to medium weight game, I suppose, but really lighter, because the whole idea of this HeroQuest First Light is to be more of an introduction into HeroQuest. This is the introductory version of the game. So if you want to get into HeroQuest, but you've been too intimidated to get into sort of the world that is HeroQuest, this is fully new quests, and it's all compatible with the HeroQuest expansions, but it will get you into the game easier. It follows 4 heroes through dungeon quests as they discover treasure, explore immersive environments, battle evil forces controlled by Zargon, the Game Master. So it is a cooperative game. If you like cooperative games, that's a reason to check this out. It features 10 quests, so not as many quests as HeroQuest, but 10 solid quests here to explore the game. And if you want an introduction to Dungeon Crawl, if you want an introduction to kind of RPG board games, that have a storytelling element to them, then all of those might be reasons to check out HeroQuest First Light. Bezier Games is releasing Silver Eye. This is a new game in their Silver line. There have been multiple versions of Silver that have come out. Plays 2 to 4 players in 30 to 60 minutes, and it is a lighter weight card game. If you've ever played the classic game Golf, like the classic deck of cards game Golf, or some people call it by other names. I've heard a lot of different names for it. But the game where you are, keeping cards face down and then flipping some up and then trying to have the lowest value of cards by the end of the round, that is a little bit what Silver is, but there's more special abilities on cards and ways to screw each other over and ways to gain advantages. It's sort of the gamer version, I feel like, of Golf. In the game, you'll have cards face down, and you can look at 2 of them at the start of the round, and you have to remember, there is a memory aspect to Silver, and you can then draw cards from the deck, switch it out for cards in your line. You can flip up cards. A lot of the cards come with special abilities. All of the cards come with different special abilities, which will allow you to look at a card, or allow you to look at an opponent's card, or allow you to swap cards. A lot of different things that they can do. And the differences between the various versions of Silver, what makes them different from each other, is each of the cards, each of the decks of Silver have their own unique special abilities. So this is going to have special abilities that other Silver versions don't have. So if you like that type of a game, I recommend it. I don't really have an opinion as to which Silver version is better. I've played a few different of them, and they all kind of have their own play styles a little bit. And they are standalone, but they can be combined with each other and stuff as well, if you would like to do that. So, yeah, just a fun, quick card game with a little bit of intrigue and memory involved. Bright Eye Games is releasing a new version of the game Ponzi Scheme. This version represents or includes all updated art and graphic design, and also is a much cheaper price point than the original Ponzi Scheme. If you don't know, Ponzi Scheme plays 3 to 5 players in 60 to 90 minutes, and it is a medium weight game. And in the game, you are playing as investors trying to acquire industries and screw people over a little bit in a Ponzi scheme. The game ends when the first player goes bankrupt, and so you're trying to manipulate money and manipulate the market so you don't go bankrupt. There's a lot of trading and negotiation in the game, so if you want a social game where you are talking a lot and trading stuff. One of the interesting aspects of the game is you will be getting funds and then assigning funds to this kind of wheel thing you have. And that, when you take a fund card, you'll get money. But every time your wheel comes back to that card, you have to pay dividends. You have to pay dividends that is noted on the card. And so it only gets you the money once, and then you're going to have to pay out every time. So you are kind of losing money, and that's why you're trying not to be the first to go bankrupt. And you can make deals with other players, and I'll trade you these funds for this fund, these cards. And there's just if you like financial games, things like that might be a reason. Or if you like a lot of social interaction in your games, those might be reasons to check out Ponzi Scheme. Direwolf is releasing a Clank Legacy 2 Acquisitions Incorporated Darkest Magic. This plays 2 to 4 players in 60 to 120 minutes, and it is a medium weight game. This is a legacy version of the great game Clank, and also the second legacy version. They already came out with Clank Legacy Acquisitions Incorporated 1 that came out in 2019, so this is now the new legacy version. If you don't know Clank, it is a great deck building game where you are diving into a dungeon, trying to grab some loot and then make it out of the dungeon, but you're going to make noise along the way, and that noise is going to represent cubes going into a bag, and eventually a dragon might wake up and burn you to a crisp. So you're trying to sort of get in and get out, but get the most loot that you can. And a legacy game is a game where you're going to be opening packs, you're going to be changing the state of the game, you're going to be adding stickers, you're going to be releasing content throughout the game. So there's a lot of one of the interesting things about legacy games is your version of the game looks different than my version of the game when we're done playing it. One of the interesting things about Clank Legacy 2 Acquisitions Incorporated Darkest Magic is that there are sort of multiple scenarios in the game, and some of those scenarios are competitive and some are cooperative. So it messes with your brain. We've been playing a bunch of competitive scenarios, and then all of a sudden we need to work together to defeat this next chapter, to move on from this next chapter. If you like deck building, if you like the idea of, a little bit of push your luck so you don't wake up the dragon. All of those are fun reasons to play Clank. And the Legacy version is just a lot of extra content you can release along the way. Dolphin Hat Games is releasing Taco Cat Goat Cheese Pizza Valentine's Day. This is currently in Target and Barnes & Noble, so if you are interested in getting it, that's one of the places you can. Those are some of the places you can, I should say. Taco Cat Goat Cheese Pizza is a small box card game with a lot of energy. It's always a hit with young kids that I play it with, and that's some of the people that I introduce it to the most, like 6, 7, 8-year-olds, you know. You are all saying Taco Cat Goat Cheese Pizza and flipping over a card while you are saying that, and if ever the card you flip over matches the words you say, we need to slap, and if you do that, you get the cards. So this version, and there have been a lot of versions of Taco Cat Goat Cheese Pizza, the main thing they do is change the artwork in the game, adding some Valentine, the pizza cards are in heart shape now, and there's a lot of pink and red and stuff, and so it's just making it it's giving it a Valentine's Day look to it. There's also a few special cards in the deck. When those come up, you have to do a specific action, and these themed version change those cards. So a lot of the cards are the same, but there are a couple of sort of special ability cards that are different in the deck. So if you want, it plays 2 to 8 players in about 10 minutes and plays as young as like 6. So if you're looking for a family game or a high energy game with slapping, then check out the Valentine's Day version of Taco Cat Goat Cheese Pizza. Flat River Games, in association with Escape Tabletop, are releasing Psycho Killer 3rd Edition. I love Psycho Killer and have talked about it multiple times on my channel. I think it is an underrated game that people are starting to find more now, and I'm really happy for them because it's a great game, and I'm glad people are finding it. It was in my top 10 games to play for Halloween. That sort of, it's that themed. Thematically, it is a B horror movie, and you are playing cards, and everything you're doing in the game is just in service of trying not to get a psycho killer into your hand, because when you get a psycho killer, you take all these wounds, and whoever has the least wounds at the end of the game wins. And all the cards are filled with all these horror tropes like, oh, drop your keys, or the car won't start, or, just things like that. It feels very thematic. It feels very 1980s B horror movie. And it's just a light card game. If I was doing a Halloween game night with people who haven't played a lot of games, I think this would be my number one go-to, right? It's an easy introductory card game, but still feels really thematic and fun. The 3rd edition of the game it features a smaller box, which is nice. It features a streamlined rulebook, and then it also features a few new optional rules to sort of change gameplay and add some complexity to the game. So if you're looking for a Halloween-themed game, check out Psycho Killer. Flat River Games, in association with Ludonate, is releasing Medieval Academy. This plays 1 to 5 players in 30 to 45 minutes, and it is a lighter weight game. They do say that this plays ages 8 and up, so if you're looking for a family weight game, Medieval Academy might be for you. Thematically, you are training to become a knight in several areas of competition. You're at a school to become a knight. It is the Medieval Academy, the chivalry school. In the game, if you like card drafting, that might be a reason to check it out. You are drafting a card, passing, drafting, passing. I always like that in games. It's a simple mechanism, but it always comes with tough choices because you're like, I want 3 of these cards and I can only have 1 of them. And then when you play a card, it's in simple intuitive rules. If I play a 3 red card, I move up 3 on the red track. If I play a 2 of a different color, I move up 2 on that track. And it comes down to timing because the different sort of arenas that you're scoring for don't all score every round. Some score every round. Some score only at the end of the game. Some score a few rounds throughout the game. And so how are you balancing going for points now versus going for points overall in the game? That's a lot of the strategic challenge of the game. So if you're looking for a family weight game, check out Medieval Academy. Play for Keeps Games is releasing The String Railway Connection. This plays 2 to 5 players in 20 to 45 minutes, and it is a lighter weight game. This packs 2 standalone games into a single small box. It includes the original String Railway, which came out in 2009, and also 2011's sequel, String Railway Transport. It also includes vibrant, updated artwork, improved graphic design, and a refined rule set, so making it easier to jump into. String Railway there are tiles out on the board, and you are literally using pieces of string in your own color to connect tiles together and then move cubes along transport lines. You're going to gain points for pickup and delivering, and you're going to lay your strings across other depots and connect to that. You're going to create pathways, sort of train pathways, but doing it with string, which is a fun, unique way to do it. It is a pick up and deliver game at its core, but you can upgrade your trains. You're using, every round you get 3 action points, and so it's all about how do you want to use your action points. So there's some real strategy involved. If I want to deliver, if I want to move through something else, all that stuff's going to cost me action points. I can spend action points to upgrade my production, my train. There's just a lot of, it's a lighter game, but there is some real decision making in it, and it looks very fun on the table, having all this string out there. I imagine some people would see it and be like, what? You're using shoelaces in a game? That's kind of what it feels like, but it's fun. Play for Keeps Games is also releasing My Favorite Things. This is a re-implementation of a game from 2015. It plays 3 to 6 players in 30 minutes, and it is a party game. It's a lightweight party game. But it sounds very unique in the world of party games. This is combining a trick-taking card game with a party game in a way that I have never heard about doing before. So, if you've ever, there are games out there that ask people to rank things. I think you've probably played games like that. But where this game is different than all of those games, you're going to be ranking something, like favorite cuisine, maybe that's something. And then I'm going to write down, okay, I really like Japanese food, but I probably like Mexican food a little bit more than that because I love tacos. Ooh, does pizza count as Italian food? Where do I put that? And so I'm going to write down on cards my ranking of things in that category. And everybody else is going to be writing down their own rankings as well. And then you're going to slide this stuff that you're writing into sleeves. And sleeves are going to have numbers on them. They're going to have like 1, 2, 3, 4. And 1 means that's your top ranking, whereas anything lower is not quite as high. So you don't see how people have ranked stuff. Then all the cards get shuffled up and dealt out, and I can see, okay, you filled out cuisine, and I have something that says Italian. How powerful do I think this card is? Because the lower the card, the lower the number on the card, the more you're going to win the trick, right? If I play a 1, I'm more likely to win that trick. But do I think that you have ranked Italian food as 1? What do I know about you? And so there's this social aspect to the trick-taking card game in this. And so then, you play a hand, you win tricks, you win cards, but then there's a debate where it's like, what? You ranked Italian food 5? Are you kidding me? And so there's arguments and stuff like that, and I just think it's certainly a unique way to do party game. It's a way to add a little strategy into a party game and add a little silliness into a trick-taking card game, for sure. Sounds interesting and unique to me. Next up on the best new editions of games coming to retail, Restoration Games is releasing Unmatched, The Witcher, Steel and Silver. This is a new set for their game Unmatched. They've released a lot of content for the game Unmatched. This version plays 2 to 3 players in 20 to 40 minutes, and it is, I don't know, maybe on the lighter end of medium weight or the higher end of lightweight. The whole idea of Unmatched is it is an asymmetric fighting game. Everybody plays as a character, and you have your own asymmetric deck of cards, and you're going to be moving around and fighting each other in various different ways. All the characters play pretty differently and allow you to do different things. One of the fun stuff about Unmatched is that each of the boxes that you buy is standalone. It's a fully playable game on its own, but you can mix and match the characters and the decks from all the different Unmatched sets. And so, this version here that I'm talking about, this Steel and Silver, includes 3 characters from the Witcher universe, including the main guy, Geralt, and some other ones. I don't know Witcher that well. It's a popular video game and then also was a Netflix series. So if you like Witcher, I'm sorry, I don't know it that well, but you're gonna love this probably. But one of the things is you can literally take that. What if I want Shakespeare fighting the Witcher? Or, you can just mix and match all of the characters, and that becomes some of the fun of the game, is seeing how different people stack up against each other and how they play. So again, this includes 3 characters and 2 battlefields from the Witcher series, and all new characters with asymmetric decks. Restoration Games is also releasing Unmatched The Witcher Realms Fall. This plays 2 to 3 players, 20 to 40 minutes, and it is also that sort of high end of lightweight or low end of medium weight. And this includes 3 different characters from the Witcher series and another 2 battlefields from the Witcher series. All the same stuff applies, asymmetric decks, different fighting styles, move around the board, knock each other out. And so if you want more characters to explore, then check those out. Trick or Treat Games is releasing Scoville 2nd Edition. Scoville is a fairly beloved game at this point, 10 years old, in the top 1,000 on BGG. This version plays 1 to 6 players in 60 to 90 minutes, and it is a medium weight game. This is also adding a solo mode where no solo mode existed. The original version of Scoville was a 2 to 6 player game. Now it is 1 to 6 players. So hey, that's fun. If you want to try it on your own, you can. In Scoville, you will be bidding for turn order each round. You're bidding for who's going first, and then doing like a blind auction. You have a privacy screen, and you'll be putting some coins in your hand and holding it out, and then that's going to determine player order, and then you're going to be planting peppers, harvesting peppers, fulfilling stuff. It is a strategy game. In this one, the other thing that I really like that games are doing right now is there's a lot of different colored peppers in the game, and those are going to score you points and sort of be able to crossbreed with each other. This color and this color can make this color, but the original game wasn't colorblind friendly. It was just the peppers, and they were all different colors, and if you couldn't tell the colors apart, then I guess you weren't playing this game. Now, this edition includes colorblind friendly peppers in it. So I like that. And it's also got a bunch of new art, updated graphic design. And I think a lot of times these new versions of games are just, making it look cooler. Like board game art is better than it was 10, 20, 30 years ago. We're just taking art more seriously in games. And so I like that these great games are getting updated looks to them. Lastly, for the month, Wise Wizard Games is releasing Star Realms Rise of Empire. This plays 2 players only in 20 minutes, but I'll get back to that. And it is a medium weight game. This is a standalone legacy scenario campaign version of Star Realms. And so when I say 20 minutes, you might be able to play a single scenario in 20 minutes, but there's a lot more content than just that. Star Realms is a fairly classic 2-player deck building game at this point, where you are, buying cards from a market and building your deck up and fighting each other and trying to win the game. This is a 12-game legacy scenario campaign. And so, as I mentioned earlier, with legacy games, the game state is going to change. You're going to be putting stickers, you're going to be ripping cards, you're going to be adding content as you play through it. And, you know, it includes a narrative to it, right? As you go along, you're going to unlock more story. This does have a competitive and a cooperative mode to the game, and it can be played on its own or combined with any other Star Realms set. So, you know, you can mix and match stuff if you want to. So if you're a fan of Star Realms, or if you want to add some legacy to your Star Realms, then you have the chance to do it now. So those are 16 new additions coming to retail in January. As always, I'm happy to bring you all of this information. It does take a lot of work doing a lot of research and contacting a lot of publishers. So if you want to support that work, you can check out my Patreon, patreon.com/GrantsGameRex. I will be back with the best expansions coming to retail here in January very soon. So stay tuned. I'll be back in a few days with that. All right. Hope you're doing well out there and having fun playing games.